Hey there, everybody. Welcome to NFL Total Access on the Friday before the last week of the regular season. We've got 16 games coming up on Sunday, 12 that will impact the playoff picture. And I've got a few things here that you need to know about those games, like the fact that Zach Ertz will not be playing for the Eagles. The tight end and leading receiver for Philadelphia ruled out today with a broken rib. That is a potential game changer for the Eagles, who are playing to get into the playoffs on Sunday, beat the Giants, and the NFC East is theirs. If they don't win that game, then the Cowboys will have a chance. Will their injured quarterback be able to capitalize? Dak Prescott has not taken a meaningful snap in practice all week long and hasn't been spotted throwing either. That said, he will play against the Redskins. He does not have a designation on the injury report. Josh Jacobs does in Oakland, and it is doubtful. They're playing the Broncos this weekend. He's dealing with a shoulder injury and a skin infection, so it sounds like the Raiders, who are still alive for the AFC 6 seed, will have to continue their improbable run without him. Saints will have Michael Thomas on Sunday, a full participant today after having his hand wrapped earlier in the week. So know that before I tell you this. They brought in Antonio Brown today for a workout.
We had 6 guys in today, really, 6 receivers that we worked out, and a few of them are practice squad eligible, a few of them are veteran players. We worked them out, gave them physicals, mainly doing our due diligence on all of those players. Obviously, there's a little bit more attention drawn to him because of his career, but right now it was more or less us having a chance to get to know these guys and seeing what kind of shape they're all in.
Due diligence, Ian Rappaport, is that all this is?
It's actually the definition of due diligence. Really what the Saints are doing, they brought in a bunch of receivers in case they get an injury down the stretch, in case something happens to one of the receivers in the playoffs. This is a ready-made team, one capable of going to the Super Bowl in September. If someone signs him, for instance, if the Saints sign him, they do reserve the right to put him on the exempt list. Unlikely he plays this year, and that may prevent the Saints from signing him now, at least until his investigation is complete or until he's cleared.
Interesting move as the Saints prepare to face the matches Sunday in primetime. It's the game of the week, the only one where there is a lot on the line for both teams. Omar Ruiz with us now from the host city, where the Seahawks have been preparing a new-look offense this week. What's the latest there on the running backs?
Hi, Lindsay. Well, Pete Carroll saying that Marhawn Lynch's return went seamlessly this week. And based on what they saw at practice, they could not tell that Marhawn Lynch hasn't played since last season. Same could be said for now backup running back Robert Turbin. Pete Carroll saying they won't have any hesitation with how they use them in this offense, but he would not give a depth chart or say how much Marhawn Lynch would play. As Robert Turbin told me, their focus wasn't on learning the entire playbook this week, simply on the portion of it that'll be relevant in their game plan versus the 49ers. The defensive game plan will include Jadeveon Clowney and Shaquille Griffin, both of whom have missed the past couple games to get their top pass rusher and top cover man, as Pete Carroll described them, will be huge for this game. Star safety Quandre Diggs, who's battling an ankle injury, is officially questionable, so the Seahawks defense, which has been so banged up toward the latter half of the year, once again getting close to becoming whole.
Thank you, Omar. A look at the clinching scenarios here. Pretty cut and dry as far as the NFC West is concerned. Whoever wins the game also wins the division. But that's not all that's at stake here. There's also a 1 seed on the line. If the Niners win, they clinch that. If the Seahawks win, then the Niners drop to 5, and the Seahawks can get to 1, though they would need the Packers and Saints to both lose. What is going to happen? That is the question. Maurice Jones-Drew and Terrell Davis have some thoughts. Who do you like, MJD?
Well, so I like the Seahawks. One, because it's in Seattle, right? You're getting your top defenders back, but this is all going to fall on Russell Wilson. And that's the situation. It comes down to he has to play the way he played in on that Monday night game. He has to play great. He has to throw the ball. You can't play like you did last week against the Cardinals. You can't have a bunch of sacks and those things. The other thing is, TD, we were at this game, weren't we?
I was there.
He has to do this type. He has to make these type of plays. If you make those type of plays, then that happens. If you don't, if you're not out there being the Russell Wilson that we've all seen, then the Niners are going to win. They'll be the 1 seed. You have to go through Santa Clara. But I like the Seahawks in the game because it's in Seattle, and the fact that they have a new attitude, some new players, and they're getting their defensive guys back. I think they'll be fine.
And I'll add to that. I agree with you with your analysis on Russell Wilson.
Thank you.
And I think in part because the Niners defense, right, the last couple of weeks, this defense that was so good early in the season, they've given up an average of 35 points per game over the last 3 games. They only have 3 sacks in that span as well. So the defense that was getting after people, sacking the quarterback, keeping the score low so that it was hard for you to beat the Niners, they're not that defense anymore, and they have injuries. Julian Taylor, I think he's out again. DJ Jones went out 2 weeks ago, so they don't have that run stopper either. So to me, it's going to come down to, can the 49ers throw the ball with Jimmy Garoppolo with the pressure that he's going to have from the Seahawks? Because last week he was harassed by the Rams. I think they hit him 6 times. That's a lot.
Neither of you have mentioned the running backs for the Seahawks. You've both mentioned Russell Wilson. 12 to 15 carries from Marhawn after being out of football for a year. Does that sound doable?
That seems like a lot to me. That's just a lot. 15, that's something you give a back who's been playing in this league for the entire season, or somebody who's conditioned.
He's fine.
I don't know. Listen, okay, so one day at practice, right? A few days at practice.
It's a week of practice. He did the physical.
Of course, he's
going to
tell you how great he looks in practice.
He looks great. 15 carries isn't a lot, TD.
He's going to put that out there, so you think that.
I can tell when you're being sarcastic or not.
He knows he don't believe what he's saying right now.
First of all, TD. First and foremost,
so sarcastic.
I held out for
focus on MJD. Camera, get closer.
I held out
for
a whole offseason. And I came back and had 23 carries and like 80 yards. It's not that big of a deal. The difference is TD is just 100 years old.
How old were you then, by the way?
I was 27.
Okay, what is Marhawn right now?
He's 33. He's off. He's fresh.
Same.
TD, you're talking like it's the 90s. This is 2000. It's 2020 now. Come on, give it the time.
Okay.
All right.
For the time.
So one thing you agree on here is that you both like the Seahawks. That would be very interesting for the NFC. Niners would not only have to play next week, they'd have to go on the road to either Philadelphia or Dallas. Over in the AFC, Patriots and Chiefs are guaranteed at least one home game. What they don't know yet is when it will be. Both teams are playing for the bye this week, though the team in the driver's seat for it is New England. Beat the Dolphins, who they beat 43-0 back in week 2, and the 2 seed is theirs.
Yeah, we made a lot of progress, and this is an important time of the year. So as important as the first game of the year is, so is the last game. It's really essentially a playoff game for us. I'm excited for this team to take the field on Sunday. We've got a lot to play for. It's a huge game for us, and really to get to 13-3 is a great accomplishment. It's very hard to do. So, we got a lot at stake, and we got to go play like it.
Game's in Foxborough, where Mike Giardi joins us now.
No quarterback has started all 16 regular season games at the age of 42. That is until Tom Brady does that very thing on Sunday here at Gillette Stadium. Brady said he had no idea he would become the first, but he said he prides himself on always being available for the football team. And indeed he has this year, although it has not been that easy. In fact, dealing with that sore right elbow, he spent a lot of time with his personal body coach, Alex Guerrero, getting that thing right. And in fact, maybe you saw it get right last Saturday against the Buffalo Bills. Brady completing nearly 80% of his passes. He said he would like to build on that momentum as the team heads towards the postseason.
Falcons have the Bucs on Sunday, and they were told today that their coach's job will not be at stake in that game. The Falcons announcing that Dan Quinn will be back next year, as will general manager Thomas Dimitroff. Also announced today, Raheem Morris will be the defensive coordinator next season. And Tiffany Blackman caught up with Quinn today about the news.
Coach, we know you have owner Arthur Blank's full support, but we haven't really seen anything like this when it comes to your players. They were so vocal about their love for you. What was that experience like for you throughout this season, knowing that?
Well, this opportunity is 100% because of them, and not all coaches get to see their team fight for them, let alone say they are. And so that made me incredibly proud, to be a part of that group that they wanted to fight and say so. And so those are things as a coach that you don't see all the time, and makes you really proud and very humble for sure. This has been the most challenging year of my career and the toughest one, but also one that I've learned the most from. And so now we get to apply and fix some of those issues and those mistakes, and not everybody gets a chance to do that, so that lights us up pretty good.
A few injury updates for you that could have an impact on this week's games. Steelers trying to get into the playoffs will not have Marquise Pouncey or James Conner. Terry McLaurin is out for the Redskins. That could affect the Cowboys' chances of getting in. They play the Redskins, who will also be without Dwayne Haskins. Terrence Smith listed as questionable. Byron Jones listed as questionable. He had an ankle injury pop up this week. Lane Johnson's been dealing with his since week 14.